Yo, Jay Boosie, what's good, man? I see you in, nigga. I see you, what's good, man? My man Steve Lookner still reporting that lost submarine that went out there to look at the Titanic like a bunch of dummies. Don't y'all know the Titanic sank? It had an accident. Why y'all going out there to see an accident? Now y'all ass stuck out there trying to watch something that sunk to the bottom of the ocean. Now you stuck at the bottom of the ocean. I guarantee you ain't no black people on that submarine. I guarantee you, bro. Niggas ain't gonna do no shit like that. I already took a census and everybody said no. I don't want to go. That's crazy. Yeah, there's a fucking standoff on my street right now. Well, not on my street, but right around the corner from me. Motherfucker, might be got his damn a family member held hostage or something. So I was coming home, and the street I normally turn on to get to my street, shit been blocked off with cops. No, first of all, I'm coming down. I gotta come down. All right, so. Oh, the submarine shit? Yeah, we were talking about that shit all day today at work. I'm telling you, man, that shit just seemed like something funny. Seemed like some funny business going on with that shit. But the street I live on is parallel with Main Ave. And so I'm coming down Main Ave trying to turn to get on my street. But on Main Ave there's a funeral home. And so I'm driving by and the funeral home parking lot is packed full of cars. There's a couple police cars outside. I'm like, damn, a police officer or somebody must have passed away. And so I passed the funeral home, and then the next turn is where I normally turn, but that shit is blocked off with a cop car. I'm like, are they doing that for the funeral procession maybe? And so I had to pass my normal turn and went down to the next block and turned right there. And then as I turn on that street, I see another cop car and a news van. And the motherfucking news guy, he's standing outside the van getting the camera equipment and everything coming out. I just pull up beside him, roll down the window. I was like, yo, man, what's going on? Who passed away? He's like, ain't nobody passed away yet. I'm like, Why? What's all the commotion? He was like, oh, there's a standoff. I'm like, a standoff? He's like, yeah, right now. The cops are trying to get this guy to come out the house. I'm like, oh, okay. And so I finally had to bust all these turns to get back to my street. And when I pull up in my yard, my neighbor, her daughter, standing on the front porch, cause you can still see the shit right down the street. And so she's standing out there. I'm like, what the fuck going on? She was like, yo, they've been out here since 9 o'clock this morning. They done had 2 helicopters flying over this bitch, man. They had the fucking the police on the fucking bullhorn from the vehicle telling everybody to stay in their houses and shit. I was like, word, yo? So, you know, I had to walk down there and be nosy, look at that shit myself. I wound up talking to one of the detectives who was standing outside. And what he told me was, if some dude, I guess it's like, you know, a couple family members live in the house, my man was asleep. He says some of his nieces and nephews or whatever woke him up being all loud in the house and shit. So the motherfucker woke up and fired a shot in the house. And I was like, he struck somebody? He shot somebody? They was like, no, we don't think he shot nobody, but, you know, he discharged a firearm in a house, and it wasn't like, you know, that risk to his own life. So now they trying to get this motherfucker to come out. This bitch been in there all damn day saying he ain't coming out. And now, I wonder if that's his house or if he's staying with somebody else or if he live with somebody else. Because they said his niece or his nephew woke him up or something. Nobody don't ever want to fuck with you ever again, bro. And you got a Spanish name. So that motherfucker probably worked third shift too. My man probably worked third shift, and last night he probably got into it on a job with either a coworker or a supervisor or something, already working late ass hours, and then got beef with motherfuckers at work. All that man wanted to do was come home and go to sleep and get like 6 hours of sleep. But no, these motherfuckers wanna run in and out the house, playing this music all loud, yelling and screaming all loud. Man, I told this bitch, if y'all don't shut the fuck up, I'ma shoot the shit out your ass. And so I just let off 1 round. I ain't really aiming at nobody. I was just trying to get him to shut up so I could go back to sleep. And now this nigga ain't wanna come out the house. Now he don't want to come out the house. Don't sound good to me. We'll go back out there in a minute and check on the scene, see what's going on. That shit may ride out to the nighttime. And I'm surprised that they ain't like rushing up in there trying to get him out. He must have got a hostage or something in there. That heat make niggas act crazy. Well, you already know once it start getting hot, people act all crazy. You know what I'm saying? That summertime excitement, bro. It ain't even tomorrow the first day of summer. These motherfuckers getting started early. Y'all ain't even wait till tomorrow, man, like the official first day of summer to start acting stupid. And blocking off all the streets, and now I gotta go all out the way and spend blocks and everything just to get back to my damn house. It should be all my shit now. Yeah. I don't know why the video ain't want to play. Yeah, this shit still just spinning. Like, it won't load the video. I hate these fucking iPads.
Main Ave. I thought it was for the funeral home, like a police officer died or something. And so this is my street. I normally come down. The street is blocked off, so I had to go around the other block. I went down Main Ave and came up this way, but down there they got fucking camera crews and everything. So I'm thinking like, what the hell going on? And they said it's a standoff down here. My neighbor said it's going on since this morning. Is the incident on Sanborn Street?
Yo, I don't know why this damn video won't load up to the iPad. That shit is. I'm gonna just walk to the second floor and try to get closer to the Wi-Fi signal real quick.
Or something. And so this is my street. I normally come down. The street is blocked off, so I had to go around the other block. I went down Main Ave and came up this way, but down there they got fucking camera crews and everything. So I'm thinking like, what the hell going on? And they said it's a standoff down here. My neighbor said it's going on since this morning.
Really? You son of a bitch. I'm not walking back downstairs. What the hell? You son of a bitch. That shit loaded half the video. What the hell, man? The Wi-Fi up here is so fucking sucky. Just fucking play, bitch. You just was playing. Yeah. Weak ass Wi-Fi signal. Is the incident on Sanborn Street? It's on Sanborn Street? You know what's going on?
I woke up, people in this house woke him up and got angry for that shit, man.
Wow. I live right here on Franklin. I tried to come home just now and it's like, my neighbor said this has been going on for a couple hours. That's all damn day.
Louis Madera?
Yeah.
No?
Louis Madera?
It's L-U-I-S.
He already got priors and stuff?
No, they already filled the restaurant. This is sister, her daughter-in-law woke him up. She's being loud
And that prompted him to fire off a shot in the house. Did he strike somebody? No. But now he just doesn't want to come out. You did wrong, dude. You might as well just make it light on yourself now. Jesus Christ. Well, I hope you stay safe. I hope y'all get this thing solved with nobody getting hurt. I'm just being nosy. That's crazy. I'm going back home. It's raining out here and I'm wet. So they've been out there since 9 this morning. And this the video still won't load to the iPad though. It just loaded the first half. It's still buffering. I just try to come home, you know? Jarko? Lek. That's a tough one. I can't say that. I don't normally pronounce KK and KT sounds. What's good though? Welcome to the stream. You are now chilling with the one and only Travis Prince, and this is Painting with the Prince, Art and Education. Here we try to inspire, educate, and motivate. We combine art, literature, and lectures to push the conversation forward. And we all do it smoking green and listening to beats. I gotta write this down real quick. Always been broke, man, that shit seemed kinda harsh, but it taught me how to cope, and that shit just made me smart, man, I always been broke, yeah, that shit seemed kinda harsh, but it taught me how to cope, and that shit just made me smart, yeah, I always been broke, yeah, that shit seemed kinda harsh, but it taught me how to cope, and that shit just made me smart, man, I always been broke, yeah, that shit seemed kinda harsh, but it taught me how to cope, man, I always been broke. Yeah, that shit seemed kinda hard, but it taught me how to cope. And that shit just made me smart. Man, I always been broke. Yeah, that shit hard, but it taught me how to cope. And that shit just made me smart. Man, I always been broke. Yeah, that shit seemed kinda hard, but it taught me how to cope. And that shit just made me smart. Man, I always been broke. Yeah, that shit seemed kinda hard, but it taught me how to cope. And that shit just made me smart when I I am really feeling that. I ain't gonna lie. I can listen to that beat for an hour. Fly Ass Beats. Alright, enough with the super dope fly, hella cool beats. Enough with that beats.
Today, the vessel Deep Energy, a 194-meter pipe-laying vessel, arrived on scene.
I want to say that and upset the families and friends of people in it. Well, so I don't know if they have no way of looking at it. I mean, we just saw a report that the Navy was sending out some kind of salvage group which could live, in theory, something of that stuff.
Yeah, right here from Luis Martinez. But yeah, I mean, look, in the Coast Guard, they said right now they're just focusing on finding the ship. So I don't know if in the press conferences they're not getting into like salvaging the ship just because they think it's so many what ifs and like they don't want to start. There's so many scenarios for what could be happening, and maybe part of them not talking about it is wanting people to keep up hope. I don't know, but also it's like, you know, who knows? Even if they found the ship, where do they find it? Is it stuck on something? Is it stuck under something? Is it all in one piece? You know, so maybe part of the reason they don't want to really get into detail about the what ifs is that it's just so speculative. And maybe part of it is that because realistically, even if they find the ship, if it's on the bottom of the ocean, there's not a great chance to rescue them. I don't know. So it's an interesting question, but I mean, it looks like there's at least some sort of way in theory to pull up the ship. The submersible, in theory, if it's accessible. Thanks, Reg Reader, for writing in. So I just, people have sent me a lot of messages, so I'm just trying to go through some of them and read some of them.
I'm gonna have to get some more paint on this.
Rich Longville, our viewer, thinks that people on board would have had mobile phones to take pictures for Instagram. I don't know that. I just don't know that. I don't know if they would work really well. So I don't know if people on board had phones or if they would, take pictures in other ways. I would assume they might get access to the footage that the company takes.
Yeah, for that expensive ass shit, y'all better give me everything. Whatever video y'all got, man, I want that shit too. Y'all got all the cameras on the outside of the submarine. I want that. I want a copy of that. I want a hard copy. Put that shit on a DVD or a flash drive or something, and send me a digital copy.
Leisha fan says, Lika fan, how long was the original dive trip supposed to take? I don't know. It takes 2 hours to go down to the Titanic, 2 hours to get back up. My understanding is it takes like several hours. They can go around for several hours. I believe the maximum dive time is 10 hours. Maybe it was something less than that. I don't have an exact time for how long it's supposed to take, but not more than 10 hours.
And from what I heard too is there is no hatch on this
Les Bowman
submarine.
says, is there talk of a black box of sorts on board, like an aircraft could provide many answers if things go the wrong way? We've gotten that question a lot. I do not know, Les, if there's any sort of black box type of thing on board, which is
They said the fucking shit is
enclosed thing, which in the event of something catastrophic happening is just.
They said that this submersible is screwed and bolted shut. So you get in it, I guess it's two halves. And I don't know if that shit is bolted and screwed from the inside, but it's not like I drive that shit. But and that's the thing. If it take this color I'm looking for, Jesus Christ. Come on, Naples yellow. Here it goes. Nope. If it's a 2-hour drop to the bottom, but they say they lost communication only an hour and 45 minutes into the trip. So you're still, roughly 15 minutes from your destination, which is you're basically there. You're damn near there. But somehow right before you get there, something happens. So is there underwater currents or, you know, motherfucking Moby Dick or what?
Simpsons and other shows said he's not optimistic about the rescue of the 5 passengers. Mr. Reese is one of just a handful of people who've ever been on the exclusive expedition. He was there last year. He says, I know how tiny the vessel is and how huge the ocean is. Oh, he posted on Twitter, yes, the sub that's gone missing is the same one I took down to the Titanic. I wish everyone involved the best of luck. From my experiences listening to my podcast. At Mike Reese Writer on Twitter. Wow. He said, I got on the sub and in the back of my mind was, well, I may never get off this thing. That's always with you, he added. He said he was on 3 separate dives inside that submersible, including the one to the Titanic, and that each had lost communication in some sort of sense. He said the experience going down was very relaxing. It's a beautifully designed submarine that feels almost spa-like on the inside. So even though there's 5 people just sitting on the floor of something that's about the size of a minivan, it's very comfortable. He says, I fell asleep on the way down. It's 2.5 hours of just dropping in the very quiet, and there is a porthole, but all you can see is blackness. He said even though they made it to within 500 meters of the Titanic, the sub had to spend a good 90 minutes just doing a random walk on the bottom of the ocean, just flailing around and trying to find the biggest boat in the world. The passengers, he said, only had a short amount of time to see what he described as the highlights of the world-famous wreck. 20 minutes before we had to resurface, we finally saw the Titanic, and I have to say, it was just enough in our case for a highlights tour. We looked at the anchor, looked at the porthole, looked at the bow of the ship, and then we had to go back up. It shows you the unpredictability of it all. The next day they sent another 5 passengers down to see it, and they circled it and got to see every inch of it. Wow. He thinks that the people on board the sub knew what they were getting into. Very interesting. I'll show you Mike's Twitter account.
I wonder what he does for a living, because he said he went down a couple of times. That shit, thousands of dollars per trip. I don't know if they said like $12,000 or some crazy
Mike
shit.
Reese. He says, here is the inside story of my trip last year on the lost Titanic tourist sub. So there he is. That's him. That's a picture of Mike when he was on the tourist sub at the porthole looking at the ship right there. Wow. I did not know he had been there. There's Mike. That's at the porthole of this. That's last year. Wow. I can't imagine. No, I'm not going to bother him. I can't imagine. It's like it's bad enough. It's bad enough to imagine the people who are on it, assuming they're still alive, which they may not. Dennis Donovan sent me this. Aid vessel for Titanic-bound submersible leaves search Lee's Buffalo Airport. 3 C-17 military aircraft were set to take off from the Buffalo Niagara International Airport on Tuesday, with one carrying a submersible capable of diving 6,000 meters, although that would not even get halfway down to the bottom. Oh no, 6,000 meters would. Not 6,000 feet. 6,000 meters would get down to the bottom because 6,000 meters is 18,000 feet. So that would get down to the bottom. It says, hang on a second. Hang on one moment. I have to fix something here. Hold on. The submersible coming from western New York to help in the search was made by Pelagic Research Services. Yeah, the problem with all this stuff where like equipment is coming, right? You know, this equipment is on its way, is there's so little time, right? So as of the press conference today, which was, I'm going to change it to 38 hours of airlift, because the press conference was 2 hours ago. Over 2 hours ago. At the time of the press conference, they said around 40 hours of airlift. So, you know, and also the people on board probably have very little food and water. So by the time everything gets there and gets deployed, gets down there, I mean, it's a very dire situation.
Cutting it close.
But I guess you got to do your best to try. Anita Marie says time is not on their side.
What about
Again,
that
I think
story?
the best hope is that they're somehow floating on the surface.
Y'all remember the story of the black dude who was trapped underwater for 3 days? He was on I don't know if he was on a fishing boat. I forgot all the details, but this motherfucker was at work, working on a big ass boat, and that shit capsized and turned over. And somehow, in all this commotion and shit, while the boat is fucking sinking to the fucking bottom, this nigga, he managed to find like a pocket of air, and the boat upside down now. But somehow he found, in the dark and pitch black, he found something to float on, and he found like this one little pocket of air. This motherfucker was down there for 3 days in the dark at the bottom of whatever fucking ocean or whatever with no food, no water, pitch black and cold ass water with goddamn, you hearing fish and shit eat other dead bodies for 3 fucking days. And then they sent a crew out to try to, you know, inspect the wreckage and see if there was anything, and they just happened to find this motherfucker alive. Yo, that shit was crazy. And the whole shit was on video. They swimming underwater, talking to each other, and then like they swam into the room where he was at, and the motherfucker goddamn reached for one of the goddamn scuba motherfuckers, yo, and reached for him. They was like, yo, what the fuck? Oh shit. This motherfucker's still alive. Everybody was surprised as a bitch. Like, oh, hell. Somebody really did motherfucking, make. I forgot. Like I said, I forgot most of the details to that shit, but that shit was a crazy ass story.
And haven't been found. Update from Sky News. Deep Sea Explorer, worst case would be a catastrophic implosion of the sub itself. A deep-sea explorer and oceanographer says the worst thing that could have happened to the Titan is a catastrophic explosion of the sub. Dr. David Gallo told Sky News there would be no coming back from that, and while it is unpleasant to think about, he didn't know how else the sub could disappear so quickly. Wow, how about that? So this expert says he does not know how else the sub could disappear so quickly other than a catastrophic implosion. Dr. Gallo, a senior advisor for strategic initiatives and special projects at RMS Titanic, has highlighted that officials said the vessel had lost communications around 1 hour and 45 minutes into the dive, but that it takes around 2 hours to get to the wreck. He suggests something had to happen midway that caused them to lose power or radio communications. He says the worst thing could probably is a collapse, a catastrophic implosion of the sub itself, which would be horrific. There's no coming back from that. I would have to say that would be the number one option here, which is unpleasant to think about. I don't know how else you can disappear that quickly. The ocean does do funny things sometimes. Sounds don't go the way they're supposed to, but sometimes you also have to look at all the evidence and say, this is the most obvious route to take, in which case the sub would be very close to where they last heard the pinging from the sub. He said if that was the case, parts of the sub will fall to the seafloor and other parts will float, adding there may be no large bits to see from the air. That's very interesting. He says if there was a catastrophic implosion, some parts would sink and smaller parts would float, and you would not be able to see large bits. There would be no large bits to see from the air. He said it's horrible. If that did happen, there will be bits that made it to the seafloor and bits that will float. So it will be a mixture of all those things if that's the way. So there may be no large piece of the sub to recover, and there may be no large bits to see from the air. So he thinks this is the most likely scenario. Let me actually post this. No, I'm not going to bother posting it. But again, that is that's certainly not, that's an expert saying he doesn't know how else this thing could have disappeared so quickly. Lizzie BSB says implosion means it is crushed from the pressure. Mark Oleg says it would have happened quickly. Again, it's possible. It's possible that this vehicle will never be found. I mean, look at you. Literally, this expert says he thinks the most likely possibility is catastrophic implosion, in which case it would break up into pieces, and the pieces would be too small to be spotted on the surface, the ones that floated. So this sounds like a scenario where you might never even find it. The Grackle Peck says implosion would be merciful compared to just running out of air after days and having little to no water or food with you. Hang on a moment. Now here's another expert who thinks that it imploded, or fears it imploded. This is from Daily Mail. They talk about an expert who was on Fox News. They say Titanic diver who's been to wreck fears missing Ocean Gate sub imploded 10,000 feet underwater. An experienced diver who has traveled far into the depths of the ocean to view the Titanic wreckage fears the submersible may have imploded thousands of feet underwater. G. Michael Harris told Fox News' Jesse Waters he's not optimistic they will be rescued and believes there's nothing the U.S. Navy could do. He says, our fears had imploded around 10,000 feet. At those depths, the weight of the water would exert extreme pressure on the missing submersible, around 6,000 pounds on each square inch of its hull. He said, when you're talking 6,000 pounds per square inch, it's a dangerous environment. More people have been to outer space than to this depth of the ocean. I Am Two Bears says the water pressure down there is 6,000 per square inch, like 35 elephants on your shoulders. Still waiting for the Coast Guard to post the video of today's press conference. When they do, I will replay it. Not that it gave that much information. I wanted to show you something from John Scott Railton, who I follow. I wanted to read through this thread. I follow him, John Scott Railton. Here's what he had talked about. He had like safety concerns, I think, about this company. He said, what's happening at the Titanic site will likely be a tragedy. Ocean Gate's page on why they didn't seek certifications, classing for the Titan submersible, and that design safety regulations are slow and constrain innovation reads differently now. Yeah, so why isn't Titan classed? This is from the Ocean Gate website, the company website. This is from 2019. Most major marine operators require that chartered vessels are classed by an independent group such as the American Bureau of Shipping. These groups have assembled very detailed standards for classing everything. I guess that's like approving everything, from oil tankers to auxiliary ship equipment, blah, 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 blah. Classing assures ship owners, insurers, and regulators that vessels are designed, constructed, and inspected to accepted standards. Okay. Now, then the company says, classing does not ensure that operators adhere to proper operating procedures in decision-making processes. The vast majority of marine and aviation accidents are a result of operator error, not mechanical failure. So they say, simply focusing on classing the vessel does not address the operational risks. Okay. And they said, while classing agencies are willing to pursue the certification of new and innovative designs and ideas, they often have a multi-year approval cycle due to lack of pre-existing standards. Bringing an outside entity up to speed on every innovation before it is put into real-world testing is anathema to rapid innovation. So basically they're saying with the kinds of innovations they're doing, the regulatory agencies that approve these kind of things would not be able to keep up and approve the stuff fast enough. That's what they're saying there. That's what John Scott Railton is talking about in his thread there. He says, imagine if a car manufacturer told you this car isn't crash certified because it won't prevent people from driving the car badly. And you can see here that he quotes them saying, simply focusing on classing the vessel does not address the operational risks. He says, they say no other submersible currently utilizes real-time monitoring. We want to know why. Hubris from OceanGate, even as that they dismissed the existing standards derived from many tragedies that came before. He says there's a nuanced, necessary risk balancing whenever you push at edges. Innovation is hard if you over-constrain yourself to old rules, but scrap them all, and you should expect to experience some irreversible lessons. Nowhere more so than in the sea's unforgiving depths. This is John Scott Railton. Basically what he's talking about is this company did not get this vehicle approved by the major agencies that would approve regular sea craft. And they gave these reasons for doing so. And John Scott Railton thinks maybe they were taking too much risk in just ditching the existing standards and trying to, improve everything on their own and innovate on their own. He says, exploration and adventure have unavoidable risks, but this is fine, but I sincerely hope the souls on that submersible truly understood them, and that OceanGate objectively explained them without being colored by the kind of rhetoric found on their website. He also says the dark irony of what is unfolding is not lost on maritime historians. Sal Mercogliano, who is a maritime historian, says the irony of this accident is that after the Titanic sank, SOLAS, safety of life at sea, was passed. It required sufficient lifeboat capacity for all vessels, 24-hour radio monitoring by vessels, and required all ships to assist. This accident may generate similar rules for submersibles, he says. Interesting. He says 101 years, John Scott Railton says 101 years after the Titanic accident, an outcome we can hope for is a fresh focus on safety regulations for subsurface adventure tourism. He says, while the game controller CEO said they had spares is something we can all understand, it's important to think of it as an indicator of the overall risk management and minimum viable submersible philosophy that seems to have been at work all over PIC's ballast. He also says, OceanGate offers you the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity of safely diving to the Titanic wreckage site. The Breathless 2023 Titanic dive promotional video puts safety in the first sentence. Interesting. So again, this is John Scott Relton, at JS Relton. I follow him on Twitter. He thinks that this company, it sounds like he thinks this company did not adequately focus on safety. Re-upload bled says regulations are written in blood. I think re-upload bled means that the regulations are there for a reason because accidents have happened. No, we still don't know. The ship has not been heard from. So we don't know what the outcome is and what happened to the people on board, whether they're alive or not. Look, I said to you before, I told you, I do wonder, I don't know, I watched this video last night, which CBS did last year, where one of their reporters went on this submersible. And I watched the video and I was just thinking, as I said to you earlier, I just wonder if experts, if this will be the kind of thing where after the fact people look back on it and say, wow, I can't believe we let this company operate, this was an accident waiting to happen. I don't know that that's going to be what experts conclude. I do wonder if it'll be one of these situations where in retrospect it's just like, man, this was an accident waiting to happen. I don't know. I don't know. One of our viewers says, I'd love to see the waivers. I haven't seen the exact waiver. Harambe Nights thinks the people on it knew the risks. In the video, the reporter, David Pogue, reads a little of the waiver, but not the whole waiver. Tommy Young thinks just about the only reason safety rules are established is because there are incidents causing injury or worse. I mean, again, it's like this was not a government and regulatory body approved vessel. It was not a classed vessel. This was just something the company made, right? That's the way it is. So maybe in the future there'll be some kind of regulation, like if you're a company and you put people in submersibles and you operate out of the United States, your vessels have to get some sort of approval. Because this company, the thread we were just reading you talked about this, and this is literally their blog post. Why isn't Titan classed? Classed basically means that there's an independent group that examines the piece of equipment and approves it as meeting certain standards. So there was no like official body that normally approves these things that actually did that to this piece of machinery. And they have this whole argument why they're not going the classing route. You can think of classing as like approved by some widely known regulatory body or something like that, or a widely known advisory group or something.
What are you saying?
But it's not like they hid the fact on their website that they weren't classed. They have a whole post on their website about not, getting approval from one of these groups that will sign off on different seacraft. These groups have assembled very detailed standards for classing everything from oil tankers to auxiliary ship equipment like remotely operated vehicles. So, you know, if you went to there on board this thing, presumably you knew that this company had made this vehicle, this vessel, and it's not like some well-known regulatory body had signed off on it. Giuseppe 3K says, I am surprised, how is this allowed to happen? Where were the regulators? Look, I don't know. This is a question I talked about last night. I don't know the answer to it. Certainly, there are some businesses in the United States you are not allowed to run without being regulated, right? It's interesting to me, like I wonder if this will change, right? Because this company is based in the U.S.
No.
It's a U.S.-based company, so
Beef, you're rid of shit, man.
like, as far as I'm aware, there's no law even in the country or in that state it was based in, Washington, which didn't let them operate this business. But it would seem to, like,
I really like how I don't know, man. You were able to word things very simply and still be racist at the same time. That's an amazing feat. You use very little words, but the connotation of all your comments make me believe that you are racist in some type of way. Because, hey, is this Ask a Black Man? My show is called Art and Education, man. Now, I can help educate you, but at the same time, you just asking the obvious questions, trying to bait me into a certain type of response. So, I mean, I can give you that response. I see the path that you're on. So, I mean, you posted a lot of messages just now. Jeez, took me a second to read all that stuff. I mean, if you're still there, you should just ask one of the questions you really want to ask. I don't know what it is, but because I feel like you wanna say something or ask something, but you're just beating around the bush and trying to get me. You want to prompt me to say something, but just say what you want to say, man. And I promise I won't ban you or block you. You can just say it. Bro, I don't know. I think he's gone. I didn't even catch any of it either. I was like really into the conversation on the news. And then when I look back at the TV, it's like, damn, wait a minute, who the fuck is Beef? And why they going so hard? He just said a lot of random shit and asked a lot of random questions. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna find the submarine.
A week or more with no or very limited water intake. Okay.
Exactly.
It also says a person can stay hydrated by drinking many different kinds of fluids in addition to water.
Like urine.
I'm
Sweat.
confused.
Yeah, he compliments the artwork, but then at the same time he start asking weird questions about race, George Floyd, crime does play. I don't know what all that's supposed to mean. That's that part that made me like, what the hell, bro? Who gives a fuck about George Floyd? And why does crime pay? Still stuck on that shit? On the George Floyd thing, man? You mad because they made statues out of him and didn't make a statue for you? Even though he was a porn star, club bouncer, meth head, pimp who had multiple charges on his record, and they still made a statue out of him. That shit be pissing some people off, boy. I swear. You like George Floyd? No, you like him? Or you just jealous he got a statue and you don't? Hmm? You guys followed each other over here from another stream? That's not weird at all. Hmm. They'll never pull a Colonel Sanders statue? Where Colonel Sanders is a white man, right? Black people ain't got shit to do with that motherfucking company or corporation at all. And every time I drive by that shit, I don't see nothing but white people going in and out of there. You know what I'm saying? Most black people fry chicken at home. I don't know, like, if you still stuck in the fucking 90s when they had to pander real hard in commercials for advertisement and branding slots and shit like that. But that's the visual that they want you to see. You think motherfuckers in the hood just go out there and eat fucking KFC every day, all day, just eating Colonel Sanders? Nigga, we know how to cook and fry our own chicken at home. Well, I'm gonna go to this nasty ass, sloppy ass restaurant with this fucking whack ass seasoned food with a recipe made by whoever and spend all my money and pay fucking 3-4 times as much for some nasty ass, sloppy ass chicken. But I can just go buy some chicken and cook that shit to my own liking, to my own taste, and my own flavor. I bet y'all wouldn't, BLM wouldn't pull down the statue of Colonel Sanders. you been propagandized, my buddy. Chicken and rice, sweet potatoes. No, last night I had lamb and salmon, spinach and asparagus off the grill. You talking about chicken and rice? That's all you eat, bro? Chicken and rice and sweet potatoes? Nah, nigga. I don't even like sweet potatoes like that. I like asparagus and Brussels sprouts. I like pickled sweet baby beets. I buy these shits by the jar. You can go eat all the sweet potatoes you want. And I'm gonna sit over here and eat all the sweet beets I want. We not the same. I don't know what the fuck kind of stereotypes you got about black people, but they all are wrong. They all are wrong. This is how you can tell a person who don't know a black person in real life. They just watch a lot of TV. That's all you do is watch a lot of TV. Black person ever invited you to their cookout? That's why you don't know what the fuck motherfuckers be eating. You ain't never been to no black person house that had dinner with their ass. They won't even invite you over. Cause you don't know none. You know nobody. Yeah, we will move on. It's weird how they come in here together. And two dummies. At least one of you guys can be smart. You know, two dumb motherfuckers running together. Y'all don't need to hang out with each other, man. Jeez Louise. Y'all gonna get yourselves in trouble. Or hurt. Or both. You ain't wanna be in trouble and hurt. Emotional damage. Oh, no it's not. See, unfortunately, you have not realized that there is no such thing as black on black violence. Black on black violence does not exist. It's made up. That's why you never hear white on white violence or Asian on Asian violence or Spanish on Spanish violence. It doesn't exist. White on white violence is not a thing. And neither is black on black violence. What this is actually the psychodynamics of black self-annihilation in service of white domination. Now, read it really slow because I know these words may be a little bit out of your vocabulary. But once again, it is the psychodynamics of black self-annihilation in service of white domination. That's what this is. There is no real such thing as black on black violence. Yeah, and white people shoot each other all day, every day too. But once again, it's not called white on white violence. when that little trans kid went up and shot all those elementary kids in that church school, a school that was a church, and some white girl who thought she was a boy go in there and murder all these kids and teachers. They were like, oh, don't use her dead name and don't misgender her and use the proper pronouns. Nobody said white on white violence for that shit. Nobody ever says white on white violence when all these crazy white people go out mass murdering motherfuckers on a daily basis. It happens every day. There's been more mass shootings this year than days on the calendar, and 99% of them are committed by Caucasian Americans against other Caucasian Americans. This is a fact. So our gang violence and all that shit won't add up to all the quote unquote mental issues and mental breakdowns due to medication. Because it's never your fault. It's always some mommy issues or some bad antidepressants. I don't cry racism. I don't have to cry racism, bro. I just point out facts and statistics, man. The same way you can point out facts and statistics, I can do the same thing. In New York in the early 2000s, they had this program called Stop and Frisk. Have you ever heard of that? Have you heard of Stop and Frisk? In Philadelphia, they call it Operation Safe Streets. You know why they had to stop those programs? Because they were proven to be undeniably biased and racist. Proven to be. The police are deliberately weaponized against people of color. Deliberately weaponized against people of color. These are facts, bro. Look up Operation Safe Streets and why the program had to be shut down. So don't sit here, all you do is cry racism. All you do is cry racism. No, the world has a lot of racist people in it. And unfortunately, the racist people control most of the shit. It's just the way of the world, bro. But I don't gotta cry and whine about racism. I own my house. And I'm a very talented artist. And I have a very decent job. And I'm very well educated. So this world is racist as fuck. But for most black people, if you try 2 or 3 times as hard, you might make it. It's just hard work. It's really extremely hard work. But you might make it. That is, if they don't pull you over and plant some drugs in your car and make you go to jail for 2 and 3 years and all that shit like that. Because that shit be happening on a daily basis. Daily basis. So many body cam videos of police officers deliberately planting drugs on black people. Deliberately killing black people because he had a gun. It was a wallet. It was a cell phone. You tell me you carry around a gun all day, every day, and you can't tell the difference between a gun and a cell phone? Come on, man. This is deliberate, man. You know that it was a proven fact that there is a gang inside many of Los Angeles police departments. They have their own gang inside the police department where they go out and kill people. And when you kill people, you get a tattoo of a skull with some bullets. You know what? Every race can't be racist. I think racism really depends on your demographics. Here in America, can't nobody be racist but white people. Because white people got all the power, all the control, of all the institutions. So this is their country. And if you go to India, where Indians run everything, then Indians can be racist to you, because racism is prejudice plus power. You have to have the power and ability to inflict your prejudice on someone else. I don't give a fuck how prejudiced or biased you are. That's all you can be if you cannot use your power to make motherfuckers do what you want to do. That's racism. Redlining is racism. Gerrymandering is racism. Giving harsher and longer sentences out due to a ethnic group, that's racism. Not being able to sell your house at market value, that's racism. Because these institutions have control over everything. So nobody can't really be racist here, except the people who run the shit. And if you go to Russia, then the Russians can be racist to anyone outside their country, because that's their shit, and they run that shit, and they got the power and ability to make motherfuckers do what they want to do. When you seen them fucking Africans, the Africans who were living in China, when COVID happened and they started locking down, they started pulling these Africans out of their homes and leaving them in the streets and telling them to walk the fuck out of their country. We don't want you here, get the fuck out. Pulling them out of their homes where they've been living for years. That's racism. If you don't have the power and ability to force your will upon some other group, then you can't be racist. You can be biased and prejudiced. Bro, do the math. I hate when people say 400 years. Do the math, bro. Slavery ended in 1865. 18, 19, 20. That's dude. Where you get 4 from, bro? Why you trying to put so many? Why you trying to put it so far back in the past? 18, 19, 20. It's not 400 years. It was roughly 200 years. It's a couple generations, bro. My great grandmother. It's not that long ago. Calm the fuck down. I know what year it is. I got all the technology. That's why I'm able to stream this shit to your living room right now. You moan the most about every race. Yeah, because we don't get respected. You know, the Asians got their reparations, the Jews got their reparations, the Indians or whatever you want to call them got their reparations. We send billions of dollars over to Israel every year. We've sent Ukraine, $14 billion in 2 years. And we still out here looking like idiots and shit. Like, what the fuck? Oh, we can't repay you people. But we got the Jews squared away. We got the Asians squared away. We got everybody squared away. We don't really fuck with y'all like that. That's how we look at that shit. That's why we always got to keep talking about this shit. Because Irish people got Irish names, and English people got English names, and motherfucking Jewish people got Jewish names, and Scottish people got Scottish names, and Polish people got Polish names, and black people we don't got our own name, I tell you that too. We lost a lot. That's why we moan about it all the fucking time. Always moaning about it. The Irish were slaves too, and the Irish know they're fucking Irish. The Irish still have their Irish last names and their Irish history and their Irish customs and their Irish heritage. The Irish can trace their lineage back to Ireland, a country, not a continent. A country, not a continent. Oh, you guys moan the most. And I don't know, man. Everybody is so fascinated with black people because y'all surprised we still here and doing as good as we can. Because y'all really thought y'all was going to stomp us the fuck out and keep us as some inbred nobodies. But then you realize, like, when you look at the modern black person, can't nobody really compete. All that fucking intelligence quotient and bell curve and all that shit, we all know that shit false. Because we outsmart the smartest of them all. We some of the most beautiful people on the earth. Some of the people who have the longest longevity on earth. Who age the best out of damn near any race on earth. Black don't crack. We age gracefully. And our physiques are immaculate. And I can see why. We the children of the sun. We have that melanin that allows us to absorb sunlight and convert that shit into energy. Like photosynthesis. You know what I'm saying? We are more connected. The darker your skin is, the more connected to the earth and nature that you are. And the lighter your skin is, the further you are away from nature. And that's why nature harms you. Nature harms you. Because you have genetic defects. And that's why, once again, we are so fascinating to people like you. And all you want to do is kind of home in and harp on stereotypes, which are generalized and for the most part not true. Very untrue. And the simple fact that I am the most entertaining thing you have in your life right now at this very moment proves my point. You will remember this day and this conversation until the day you die. And later on today, you'll talk about this and share it with the few people in your life who care to listen to you. And just remember, man, there's no such thing as black on black violence, man. If you don't learn anything else from this conversation, just remember that it's no such thing. Because the next time we see a big news story about some white dude killing his wife and his 2 kids and stuffing them in a trailer or some shit, or another white teenager shooting up all his classmates, the first thing I want you to say is, why doesn't the media call it white on white violence? And let's see. Because it doesn't exist. It's not a thing. It's all proximity. Motherfuckers kill people they close to. Motherfucker storming the Capitol on January 6th, run up in there, smashing shit. The one dude shot that lady in her fucking chest and killed her. That whole incident, all white people. That wasn't white on white violence. You just don't never hear that shit, man. You don't never hear that shit. Have you ever questioned that? Have you honestly ever thought about that? Like, why is that not a term? You've been brainwashed by the propaganda, man. You've been propagandized. It's so hard for you to see because you got your head deep in your ass. You got to pull your head out your ass and look around. And you got to talk to more people like me. Damn beef. You got cut short, bro. That shit be happening sometimes, man. And hey, it don't be me. My homies got less patience than I do. I should have warned you about that to start with. My homies don't. Them motherfuckers is not patient, bro. Hey, it just that is what it is, you know. Homie say he ain't got time to listen to all that bullshit. Well, that was entertaining. Like I say, in the beginning he had all the compliments. I'm like, wait a minute, bro, you complimenting too much. What is all this great talent? I can't believe that no one watches this stream and makes comments, but they'll watch somebody drink beer. Are all people racist or just white people? You like George Floyd? Get your goofy ass, boy. Yep. All people have the capacity to be racist if they are in charge. And not just your manager or your boss. I'm talking about really in charge. The motherfuckers who run the banks. The motherfuckers who give you loans. The motherfuckers who set policies. They say, now you go to Africa and go to goddamn Zambia or Congo and the motherfuckers treat you funny. They might be being racist. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? That they country, they run that shit. They got all the power. You go to over there, oh, I want to get a room. And motherfuckers say, bitch, you can't stay in this place. But I got money. I don't give a fuck. Then they see, now that's just being racist, man. Come on. Now you just being, you don't even get a man a room. Why? Because he white? Man, see, that's that racism. But that's not the case here in America. We don't make the rules, man. What's the average age of Congress? Man, you got these motherfuckers. Nancy Pelosi in her 80s. Biden in his 80s. And these motherfuckers lived through segregation. They was born before white people can drink from the same faucet. I mean, before black people can drink from the same goddamn faucet. Water fountain. That was their childhood. That was their most memorable years. That was their most impressionable time of life. Is growing up and knowing that, you know, you don't play with the nigga kids and you don't go to school with niggas. That was their era. Even Joe Biden said, you know, he didn't want his kids to go to a school where he would have to go to school with other races because he didn't want his kids to be in a racial jungle. Biden ain't never had to go to school with no black people or be around black people or live around black people, but he running the country. Come on, man. It's a problem. Oh, y'all just whine and whine. Oh, man. I'm going to keep whining, too, until I get drunk. I'm going to whine and whine all night. lie, I'm about hungry as a bitch now. Man, I might have to break for something to eat. Oh, we right at that 2 hour mark too. I made a liquor joke. I'm a wine and wine till I'm drunk. Yeah. Nobody wasn't even on that shit. We talking about submarines and Titanics and shit, man. But then he want to come here talking about we whining about race, bringing up race. Nobody, baby. I listening to the news, nigga. Man, I'm trying to get to a good stopping point. I ain't gonna lie, man. My stomach's starting to growl. I don't like that. What's wrong, nigga? You got hunger pains? About to go have me a big ass dinner while I finish listening to these people starve on this submarine. Had to get the axe, man. Yeah, the one dude's like, okay, well, we're leave then. And then like the other guy, who the fuck are you? Are you the one in charge? You're gonna make him leave with you. Come on, we're out of here. These guys seem too intelligent for us. We're not gonna be able to troll this stream. The one tried to stay and still troll anyway. Bro, you think you fuck with some goofies in here, nigga? What the fuck, bro? Alright, I think that's about as much as I got in me right now. That little brick wall coming along nicely though. It's going slow, but I think it's gonna look good when it's done, man. Just gotta be patient with that shit. It's starting to piss me off a little bit. I'm going like an inch an hour over here, man. I gotta do 3 hours just to move 3 inches. I don't think that's too fair. Yeah, it's right at 6 o'clock. I'm gonna try to goof there, just talking all kind of stupid mess. All the time, bro. All the damn time. Yo, I appreciate you chilling in the studio with me and watching my back. Man, I'm about to get up out of here. I'll get with you next time, yo. Peace.